Day massacre, and I tell you what, it nearly was as well. Here's Jawaid Khaliq then, 33 years of age. This could be his toughest test against proven quality of Ener Julio. The question with Julio, how much does he have left? He has a win over Randall Bailey, the one that gave him the WBO light welterweight title. Bailey was 21-0 at the time, all by knockout or stoppage. That's how good Julio was then. How good is he now after the eye operation and the loss of confidence since then? He lost his last fight back in June against Hercules Kivelos, who went on to be beaten in 2 for the WBO title at this weight against Antonio Margarito. So that's not a good advert really for Julio's form, but let's see how much class is still there. Khaliq hits hard at this weight. He sometimes leaves his chin in the air though, Glenn, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. That's always a danger for him. Julio, some wide swinging hooks, looking very slow as he throws those punches though.
Considering he's had a few hard fights along the way and visited the canvas 1 or 2 times, Khaliq still looks quite fresh and unmarked. Doesn't look 33, does he? Great win in South Africa against Jan Bergman a couple of fights back in a 5 knockdown thriller. That was a fine win, and I think it just made people take Khaliq a little bit more seriously. I notice in the independent rankings they have him as high as number 6 in the world. That might be a bit lofty, but he's not far off, is he?
No, and that's good, and I think he's at his boxing peak at this stage, and now's the time for him to make his moves.
Julio with the reputation of something of a big puncher, 1 way down at light welter. This is only his 2nd fight in the 10.5 stone division. Bear that in mind. As you say, looks a little bit ponderous early on here, Julio.
Yes, slow arcing punches.
But he knows plenty. He's been in twice as well with another world champion, DeMarcus Corley, losing the first time on a split decision. The other time he was on the floor twice, more emphatic.
It's worrying his loss to Hercules Kivelos. Haven't seen the fight with Antonio Margarito when he got blasted. He didn't look good at all, Kivelos, so that doesn't bode well for Julio's chances.
Khaliq's still got to do the job though here. Started okay. Nice jab from Khaliq, who can sometimes be a bit slow out of the blocks in his fights.
To my oldest son, I leave the chateau on the French Riviera. To my only daughter, the Manhattan penthouse. To my youngest son, I bequeath 150 acres of uninhabitable swampland.
Terrible.
Jeep Grand Cherokee, available from $24,995.
No worries for Khaliq early on there. Chris Aston, Jason Shinfield, Fidel Castro-Smith. Remember him as quite a smooth fighter in the corner with him. And Julio looking slow in that opening round as well.
Yeah, very, very slow, but he still managed to catch Khaliq.
Second round. Khaliq in the white trunks. He and his brother run a taxi company in this city. Julio caught a little bit off balance there.
It looks as if he's coming out this round to throw a few shots and have a go at Khaliq. Khaliq needs to warm up and stop him in his tracks here with some sharp punches.
Referee worried about the heads banging together on the inside. The fights Khaliq needs to be looking for against the likes of Corey Spinks, Antonio Margarito, those kind of fighters. If he's going to move out of this IBO bubble and into the big pond. decent money along the way, but the danger is he's going to end up being a decent fighter who never really mixed it with the real top names. He's not the only one in that category either.
Well, he's getting caught a little bit off these ponderous hooks from Julio. He's got to be careful, keep that chin down.
He then leaves himself a little bit open, Khaliq. Julio a little slow to take advantage of that. Not really found any kind of rhythm at all yet, though, Khaliq.
Well, I think this slow sort of rhythm of Julio is taking him by surprise a little bit. He doesn't quite know what to do.
I think the word's languid, isn't it, about Julio's style. He got there with a left hook there, and although the punches look slow, a few of them are finding the target.
Well, they're getting there. Khaliq's got the chin up, and Julio's getting through with silly sorts of shots.
The kind of fighter, Khaliq, who quite often finds a way of making life as difficult as possible for himself. Having said that, he usually finds a way to prevail as well. He's won his 17 over the last 5¼ years. Julio's got a cut by the left eye. Bit of blood there. And hit with the left hook as he's trapped against the ropes. Khaliq ought to be the stronger man at this weight because Julio's still growing into this 10.5 stone division.
He should be the stronger man, but he's going backwards on the back foot, Khaliq, and I think that's the wrong tactics. He needs to stand Julio or put him on the back foot, not let him get into a rhythm.
Doesn't quite land flush with those right hands, Khaliq. That's a stiff-looking left hook, though. That seemed to rock Julio back a bit. He's never been stopped, by the way, this Colombian, in his whole career. Can Khaliq do it tonight?
Portugal. The stage is almost set. The team is preparing for Euro 2004. But first, England. Beckham and the boys are getting ready. Are Sven's pieces falling into place? Which ones will fit? On the same night, the stars of Brazil join up at Lansdowne Road in Ford International Football. It's the Republic of Ireland v Brazil at 7 and Portugal v England at 8, Wednesday night on Sky Sports.
The referee has ruled that the cut suffered by Julio in that last round was accidental, which means that if the fight has to be stopped because of it, before 4 rounds have been completed, it will become a no contest. That they would go to the scorecards.
Well, Julio had to test. Bit surprise.
Third round. White trunks. Julio Colombia in the blue. Based these days in Barranquilla, which was the same city that produced that excellent fight with Del Basta. You remember his great fights with Dave Boy McCauley. Nothing that authoritative about Khaliq early on here, is there?
No, there's not. Just slipping down a level and slowing down to Julio's level. He needs to pick it up and start pushing Julio on the back foot, steady and really driving back with that jab.
And even if this guy has faded a bit, he'll know plenty from mixing in a different world class. It's up to Khaliq to impose himself on this Colombian. Home advantage again. This is the 6th time in the last 8 fights that he's fought in Nottingham.
Again, and he just can't get started, Khaliq.
Julio, quite busy.
Well, he's just setting about his task. Julio just rolling forward, letting these punches out. They're slow, but they're getting through.
And Khaliq not exactly looking speedy or sharp inside. Of course, he's 33. The question starts to arise. The hard fights will be taking their toll on him about this stage of his boxing life. It's possible, isn't it?
It's possible. He seems more struggling with, as you said, in his languid style. Just can't really get himself sharpened into a rhythm.
And Julio, quite tough. Will probably suit Khaliq. Have a few exchanges, like they bustle him about, make the strength. There's a nice right uppercut from Khaliq. Sometimes just take a few rounds. Down, says the referee. Seems all right.
And the sky is gray. I went for a walk on a winter